Can you get your business license before you know what space you're going to use, or you have to have your address?
You can have a business license to start with at your home. So if getting a business license is it, you actually have to go and physically get it. Do you have to do that?
You do. You can get your LLC online, and I did it.
You don't even
first.
don't even worry about the LLC. You're going to be a sole proprietor. Set it up as a sole proprietor. You go, if you're in the city of Virginia Beach, if you live in the city of Virginia Beach, you go to the courthouse area for the business licenses, and you pay your $50. Okay, that's it. So that might be a task. Monday morning, that's what I'm going to do. Awesome. Write that down. But keep it simple. Keep it simple. So 3 things that you're going to do in the next 3 days.
Is the business license when where you identify the name of your practice, or was that?
You can set up your practice with your name. You can start with that.
But I'm just trying to remember. At some point, I was waiting for like approval that my name was unique. I want to say it was
That's
my
different.
LLC.
That's LLC.
Okay.
So if you want to set up an LLC like Natalie did, and I set up an S corp for mine and I set it up as an S corp because I thought I was going to do some subcontracting. So that's a whole other issue in terms of subcontracting and S corp and things like that. But I sat with Sabrina on December 1st and said, I want to set up my artwork as a business now. She's like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yes, I want to do this. I was already there for something. She, on her computer, because she's licensed to do it, she's like, okay, what do you want the name of the business to be? She plugged it in. It's Wabi Sabi Artist LLC. That's the name of my business. She plugged it in. I paid $100 to the SCC, the State Corporation Commission, and paid her $25 for doing it. $125 later, I have a company. I have a tax ID for that company, and then the next step was to set up a business account. So do you see how you can then? All right. So what's another step? There's like I could do this. This is really easy. I can do this in the next 3 days. Okay. 3 things for the next 3 days. Got them? Now, we're going to get a little bit bigger. What are 3 things that you would want to do in the next 3 weeks? So there's something that it might take a little bit longer. 3 things in the next 3 weeks. Maybe that is setting up your website. What else would be a little bit bigger? Looking at a space, just looking for spaces.
Or just looking to see what a typical space looks like, what it costs, just kind of looking online.
It might be doing a Psychology Today website, so if you can get that set, you can get something set up. It could be
asking someone to lunch to talk about
ask someone to lunch. next chunk of time. 3 things that you can do in the next 3 months. So this might be a little bit bigger things, next 3 months. So maybe it is, your target would be to actually open a space, or join somebody else's practice, or collaborate with somebody to do a presentation, or identify a list of possible people to refer to you, and then speak directly with them or connect with them somehow.
And you can lay a lot of the groundwork before you officially open your business, or even, even if you're not licensed before you get licensed, you can lay a lot of the foundation. Business license was one of the last things I did.
That you did?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I didn't want to go down there.
Yeah, that's a physical trip. So depending on where you live in Virginia Beach, it's like all the way in Pungo. It's not really all the way in Pungo, but it's pretty close to Pungo.
They're so pleasant. I have been there
They're
a couple
so-
times and found them
Helpful.
unusually, and different people, like not the stereotypical government workers. I mean, warm, take their time from me.
It wasn't a bad trip or anything.
It wasn't.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, if you get a license, does it cover your consulting as well as your therapy?
Mine does. So I've made a name of a business, so mine's Quantum Healing Works. That's what I'm registered as my business.
Okay.
But you can register business as your name. And that includes my counseling and consulting.
Okay.
Right. And that's what I have a separate business for my artwork, because I said before I have products that I want to sell, and I want to have that. I just want to have it separate in terms of looking and everything else.
And that was part of why I did counseling and wellness to include some other services if I want to do yoga or something else like that.
Yeah, mine is Wellness Works Consulting, so I can do all that stuff, my proposal writing, yoga, counseling. But I don't have that, I don't have a licensed business, it's just a name that I have. So I'm interested in, and maybe you guys talked about this, so I'll call the person that was in here, the H&R Block.
Oh, Sabrina.
To ask, I don't know what the benefits of having that would be for me in terms of tax purposes and other things.
Having a business license?
Having a business license, yeah. Like my company, my consulting company, they pay me as my name. They don't pay me as my business, and I have the option to choose either one. So like on my next business trip, I'm gonna talk to some of the other people that do exactly what I do and say like, when they pay you, do they pay your business or do they pay you?
And I have, when I do consulting work, people usually just pay me, and that's fine.
But are there like, I've heard people say, oh, there are tax breaks if you get paid to your business name instead of your sole proprietor or your name, and I don't really
I don't know, that's a Sabrina, that's an accountant question.
Yeah, okay, so you guys didn't talk about it the other day. You didn't know,
like Sabrina, Sabrina, should I be paid from this or this? She's like, you know what, if you get paid here, I'll take care of it.
yeah, alright,
I like that, okay.
yeah.
The way I did the contract with Dine was to be paid to my business as an added level of liability, because, tell me if I'm right about this, the way I understand it is the LLC protects me personally, my personal assets in a lawsuit are not involved.
Right, so that's the difference between a sole proprietor and a some kind of corporation, whether that's a S Corp, C Corp, or an LLC. The way that I've heard it described as, if you have a sole proprietorship, they can take your house. If you are sued. So if you have a business, they can't. All that they can do is sue your business.
And that's different from professional liability insurance for
Right.
me and my business. It's different than like clinical
Right.
liability.
Right.
So like, for example, the HPSO insurance, I have that.
That's the clinical liability insurance, as opposed to, like, you would have to go to another who else? I know my USAA is my property, so there's property liability insurance that you'll want to have as
In
well.
general, like if someone falls down in the building.
Right.
And so HPSO will they'll bundle it like one policy with me personally and my business.
Mhm.
Are you saying we should have property insurance at our place of business?
General liability.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Mhm.
our general liability
It's
doesn't.
more clinical. That's for clinical. So that's what the ASAP is doing. That's the clinical aspect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as opposed
Because I have
to.
USAA too.
Yeah. So.
I've got home and car, but I
So you
never
might
even
check.
thought
So
about-
check with USAA to see if
Okay.
I'm sure they will, to add a rider to your home. That makes
okay.
it business. I don't think that's how that's done.
Oh, okay.
I don't have people in my house for my work. I just work out of my house. So I don't have the extra rider for having a business in my house. But
But
you
I'm-
are seeing people.
Yeah, hopefully not for long. But
Right.
do you have property insurance at Military Integrated?
As a practice, we do, yes.
Your practice does.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have paid the practice for that insurance, yeah.
So if you have a practice outside your home,
Yeah.
like this, then you need to have
You
property
should
insurance.
have property insurance.
Well, it's not
It's a good
it's not that
idea.
if my property here gets damaged, is it? It's so much as if someone hurts
It's
themselves.
a liability.
somebody
It's
else
more
will.
liability.
Yeah.
It's more
It's like
liability.
somebody walking in here and tripping on that door sill
Right, I
and
know.
falling on their face.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That happened.
I didn't fall down, I tripped.
I try to warn people as I walk through.
What I said was that if it were me, I'd put a red duct tape on there, as a warning. So, other questions then?
I have two really random questions.
Okay.
Random is okay. One is about getting clients to come in the middle of the day. Has that been difficult or not? Because at the beginning, I'm fine with like evenings, weekends, whatever, to get it off the ground. But eventually, I'd like to have like a more normal work
Schedule.
But I know other people their work schedule during
So,
the day.
My philosophy is I want to meet clients where they are. So my ideal client is somebody who's working, who's fully employed, and is committed to being a better person as well. And early on, I offered evening appointments and Saturday appointments, not just weekends, but Saturday appointments. So I fill up my evenings first because I have clients who come from work. That's my ideal client. And then I fill in from there. So I start with just once, I offer people only, here's a choice. What's your next available appointment? Well, I'll pick one time. If I have 5 openings on Tuesday, I tell them, well, I can meet at 3 o'clock or I can meet at 5 o'clock. Well, I'll take the 5 o'clock. Okay. Or if they say, do you have something later? Yes. I, even now, will work one Saturday a month. I have a meetup group in the morning, and then I'll fit in a couple of clients after the meetup. So I'm optimizing that time. If I'm already out and working, I might as well see a couple of clients. So that's how I do it. But you can, and early on, one of the mistakes I think is being available all the time. You don't have to be available all the time. Pick a day, and if you can't see a client during then you can say, well, we can either figure out something else or I can make a referral. Right? So do not be available all the time. Pick some slots that you are available and keep to that. That's having boundaries. It's okay. And do not say that you have a part-time practice. So listen to how I describe it. I have limited availability, as opposed to I have a part-time practice. Which sounds like someone you want to go to?
Elite.
Right.
I guess I can talk a little bit about afternoon clients. So I only did Saturdays for a little while because I felt like doing it. And I was working a lot of evenings. I would see a 7 o'clock client for a while, and I'm kind of over working that late just for right now. So I made my schedule now that my latest one is 5:30. Just for right now, I just don't want to work late. And yeah, those evening ones are gonna fill. 4:30, 5:30, they're gonna fill. But right now I'm full every day starting at either 11 or 12. And I was thinking about who are the people, and I have college professors who have flexible schedules, college students,
Yeah, I do too.
people who have 1 day off a week,
Yeah.
nurses with rotating
Yeah, people who do
schedules.
shift work. I'm trying to think who else. Or people who have flexible schedules who it's not a hardship to take off.
I have luck too with those early appointments, like some people that work more 9 to 5, if they can't get in the evenings, will come in at like an 8 or 8:30 appointment. So I liked working early in the morning versus later at night, so that works too.
And
For working
the
professionals.
teens' school schedule, some get off as early as 2:30, some are later, but teens who have a parent who doesn't work, they've been able to come. Flexible. Well, I'm gonna have some women who aren't working right now. So it's been, they were harder to fill, but for whatever reason they're filled right now. So there's lots of people you can kind of market to. I think college age is the easiest because they're scheduled all over the place.
And then my other question is, I know in the DC area it was a trend, a lot of people in private practice I talked to over and over again said August is like a really slow month for some reason. And so they sort of just think of their year as like an 11-month work year and like take August off. Have you guys noticed like a similar
I
trend?
have to tell you, this last year, August was my busiest month.
Really?
I made more money in August this last year than I've made in any other month.
My August was slow, and so that was when I wanted to quit my job. It's like my goal is to quit by August, and everyone's like, maybe you should make it September, and I did. But I kind of liked having my summer too, so that was okay. But people say December is really slow, and my December was the busiest month. So I don't know.
December's full.
December was
Everyone's anxious about getting ready to see their family.
Right, right. And so you can actually be talking to people. That's your newsletter that you send out. I actually just recently, since I'm doing private practice now, what I'm finding is that just the way it's worked out for the last 4 months, somehow, for whatever reason or another, I've had almost a week off every month. And that's happened sort of by accident, but it's really helping me to stay energized. And I think I didn't do that in August, so that's one of the reasons. But I took more than a week off in December, and I still made the same amount of money as I did in November, as I did in October, as I did in January.
I took a week off in December and made the most money I had made so far. So, so you can move them and take time off, and it's okay.
Yeah.
January's slow.
I got slammed in January. It's just
depends.
So,
It depends on your clientele.
So I think it's now we're talking about sort of on this level, like on the physical level. Here's what everybody else is saying, right? On an energetic level, decide what you want to believe and work from that place. because that's a place of attraction as opposed to fear. Because when people say, oh, take August off, do you hear, there's a little bit of fear in that. But if I say, you know what, it's my experience. It's my experience. My clients are going to come when I need them to come. And honestly, that's what's been happening. I mentioned before, I look at my calendar for next week and I think, oh my God, you know, at the beginning of this last week, I looked at my calendar for next week, lots of open spaces. And instead of panicking, which is what I did 10 years ago, what I do now is I think, I wonder how they're going to get filled. How cool I have these spaces now. Do you see there's a difference in it? And the other thing is, if it's not filled, the other thought I have now is, oh, I wonder what I'm supposed to be doing then, that I need that time.
Yeah, I didn't know that December is like a lull for most people until like mid-December, and so I was practicing a lot of positive thinking like I'm gonna kill it this month, and then midway through I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be a slow month, but it's like I had set it up like it wasn't gonna be.
So figure out what the assumptions are, and it's like what we talked about earlier. What's the assumption that you're operating from, and how valid is it? Do you want to continue to operate from that assumption? If you don't. Okay. We've covered a lot. And what I'd like so we can do a little bit of a review. There are two things that I'd like for us to do in the last 10 minutes that we're here. One, I'd like for you, if you choose, to verbally commit to those 3 things that you're going to do in the next 3 days. It's your choice. But what research says is that if you take it from, first of all, if you put it in writing, it increases your chances of getting it done. And if you take the next step of verbalizing it so other people know about it, it further increases the chance it'll get done. So there's a reason for not just writing it down, but saying it out loud. And then we'd like a little bit of feedback from you all. So just a few minutes. We don't have a written thing. If you're comfortable with saying something within the group, we'd love to hear from you. There are a couple of questions that I have as prompts. Otherwise, you're welcome to send us an email that gives us other additional feedback if you want. So, how about it? Whoever wants to speak your goals for the next, you don't have to do the 3, 3, and 3, but for the next 3 days, 3 things that you're committing to do. Who'd like to start?
I can start. There's a space that I have in mind that I've been eyeing, and I've even seen on the internet and looked at, how many spaces are available in that area and how much they are and all of that. So I think I'm ready to call and set up an appointment to see it. So I can do that in the next 3 days, and the next 3 weeks to actually go and see it. And I want to start looking at all of the stuff online that we've kind of talked about, like the different therapy notes and the square and all that stuff, and just kind of start really researching for myself, just in my spare time, all the different things we talked about, so that I can start considering what I want to do. So I can start that now, and then in the next 3 weeks I've made some decisions about some of that. Like I like this, for web posting, and I like this for the notes and that kind of thing.
And I think in there I have the therapy notes. I think I have some other.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple listed.
So I really have to focus on licensure and passing this exam. And so I think I get all excited about this stuff, but it could I gotta not put the cart before the horse. So for the next 3 days I want to finish the 2nd volume of my study materials, start the 3rd volume
moving you in this direction.
Yeah.
Awesome.
First thing I'm gonna do is update my website. Second thing I'm gonna do is update my Psychology Today profile. And the third thing I'm gonna do is find out more about what I can and cannot call myself. Because my website is yogacounselor.com and I need to change it. And decide on, make some steps toward deciding what to call myself, and maybe even decide that in the next 3 days.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna look for the next integrative therapy, training, as well as other evidence-based therapy, that I might be interested in taking. Looking to consulting for elder care, because I feel like I know quite a bit about that because I work in a hospital setting and they don't know what they need. And also look into the license for the consulting, as well as I will add it together like you all did.
I am going to thoroughly review all the material in this book, because I know there's a lot here. And if it gets set aside too long, it'll stay there. So I want to go through and mark what I can put to use right away and what I need to save, and so I can get my hands on it. I'm going to begin to gather my documents for taxes, because I was self-employed briefly last year. So it's a brand new process. So I'm going to begin. It struck me when she said, if you want to see me this year, you need to do it soon. Because I'm thinking, it's early February, 2.5 months, so that's trouble. The other thing I'm going to do is personally let at least 5 folks know that the first session I do is complimentary, because I'm not going to put that on my website, because I don't want to work with who I don't want to work with. And I don't want to attract people I don't want to work with. But I am comfortable telling people the first session. And for me, that clears up the seeing friends and acquaintances and all that. Everybody in this room included, who, because the nature of my work is so new, first session is free. So I'm going to make sure that I personally tell, let's see, there's 6 in this room. Oh, check it out. No. Done. So let other people know that that is my new policy.
Did you make sure that each of us has 2 business cards so that we can pass one on to somebody?
One person got 2, everybody else got 1, because I was a little shy, but that'll get done this evening. They're going to replenish my little thing. Yes, my card holder. Absolutely.
Thanks. So in the last few minutes, what we would like is some feedback from you all. We really would like to know, what did you want more of? What did you want less of? Anything that you think might be helpful for us at this point?
I was thinking at one point that it would be awesome to have a second projector when you guys are showing stuff, so that one screen could be the slides and the other screen could be the websites that you're talking about. To have 2 would be awesome.
Okay, thank you.
I thought there was a really nice balance between structure to this, but also flexibility around when we got to asking a lot of questions, or, meeting our individual needs as a group. So I liked that balance.
You all are obviously very well organized and put a lot of thought into this, and that's appreciated. Well prepared, well organized.
So, information is in the book, good information?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome. That's huge. Being able to walk literally and
Because
figuratively,
you won't remember everything, but we have it here.
being able to walk
Yes.
away with all
I think that's a big draw, and I think you maybe put it in your, flyer or something when you said you're gonna give a manual.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's appealing,
Okay.
you know, and then so I feel like walking away, it's helpful because we can keep it, and then when you wanna revisit it later, say, you know, it's not like, oh, where did I put all my notes from that? Like, you know, you've got it somewhere you can find and look at
Yeah.
it, and it's all the information.
I had every intention of doing a slide in other than the schedule for the front, but I missed that, so you might need to write on the, you know, it's blank otherwise.
I appreciate these little thoughtful things, the materials. I've ended up taking notes on the orange because if I wrote them on the individual pages, I was afraid they would get lost in all the information. So just even having that available, you know, I appreciate it.
The flags I use for the same
Heck yeah.
kind of thing,
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
So now I know the things that I really wanna go back and look at first,
Yeah.
they're flags, so that was.
And I brought some basic things, but I didn't bring any flags. So.
It was a tip from my friend Amy, who always brings her Post-its, and she's flagging everything. She's going through stuff. So,
What about like the amount of technical? Was it too technical, or are you interested in more of the like nitty gritty on website stuff?
If you left it out, we wouldn't be able to do it or even know where to go or what to do. I think that was just enough. Yeah. And you all complement each other. Where you're an introvert, you're an extrovert.
I'm actually much more of an introvert, believe it or
Absolutely
not. like when we're done today, I'm going home to crash, and it's just a difference of how we sort of present in a group. I think I have a lot more experience, and I love teaching, so that's that. But I am much more of an introvert. I'm laughing as I say that because I'm starting to not believe it.
I'm the same way. All the years teach. I've taught in prisons for 8 years. Teaching, but I'm really introverted and sensitive and all those things. But for whatever reason, for a few hours a day, I can turn it on. But then afterwards, I'm like done.
So we would love to be. I'll speak for both of us for a second, and then I love being a resource. I said that before, and I want to be a resource to you. And I think I'll speak for Natalie as well. If you think of other pieces of feedback that you'd like to give us, do email us. We will send you an email. I've been making notes about different things that we want to make sure that you get, different forms, so that you have the Word documents that you can make some changes to. And
I just really like talking to people about this stuff, so I'm happy to help with other things too. You know, questions. And I really like building little communities. So I'd like to do the Facebook to keep us all connected, so we can bounce ideas off each other.
And we ask you to let folks know that we're doing this. The next time that we're doing this is in September. We've tentatively scheduled it for the end of September, the last weekend of September. And our intention is to collaborate with the Virginia Counselors Association so that people will be able to get continuing ed credits with it. So it may be in another location, but it is our plan to try and schedule something for that weekend. One last question. Amount of time that we have. Start on Friday, all day Saturday. Would it be better over 2 days? Maybe think about that. As you think about it, then let us know, because our time is up. Thank you so much for joining us and for being our friend.